breaking news in the Justin Baldoni versus Blake Lively court case. A judge has ruled on the protective order. This is a big deal.
Who won? Well, I think it's a bit more complicated than that.
Blake Lively thought she was in control. She had the best lawyers, the most powerful connections, and a legal team ready to fight for her every step of the way. But then it happened. A legal filing meant to stay buried in the depths of courtroom bureaucracy leaked. And inside, evidence of something so damaging, so blatantly corrupt, that even her own legal team couldn't clean it up. It wasn't just speculation. It wasn't a rumor. It was a real documented transaction. An offer so enormous it stopped the courtroom in its tracks. Tucked inside a sealed legal motion, which has now surfaced in official court records, was something no Hollywood A-lister ever wanted the public to see. A direct financial offer exceeding $100 million. Not to settle the case, not to compensate a victim, but to bury key documents forever. A blatant attempt to erase the truth from existence. The court filings, now unsealed, outline how the money was intended to block the release of specific evidence. Evidence that could potentially end Lively's career and trigger legal consequences far beyond Hollywood. The number was shocking. But what made it worse? The timing. Legal analysts quickly connected the dots. The $100 million wasn't just floating in the ether. It was allocated days before Blake's legal team officially filed to have key documents sealed under an attorney's eyes-only protection order. The funds moved through multiple channels, carefully structured to avoid immediate detection. But one slip, one simple miscalculation in the paperwork, exposed the entire operation. A confidential financial disclosure form, submitted as part of routine legal procedures, included an unexplained transaction that matched the exact timeline of Blake's legal filings. The amount? Precisely the sum required to protect the documents in question. Once the judge saw the evidence, there was no denying it. This wasn't just a legal strategy. It was bribery. This is where things take an even darker turn. Because according to the court logs, Blake wasn't acting alone. The financial trail revealed that individuals closely linked to Blake, inside her legal team and beyond, were involved in discussions about how to keep the evidence from public view. Ryan Reynolds, her husband, was allegedly part of behind-the-scenes talks about handling the fallout. A high-profile Hollywood attorney, known for protecting A-list reputations, was reportedly involved in the financial structuring of the offer. Private security firms, including one with former intelligence operatives, were consulted on damage control strategies. But despite all these efforts, they got sloppy. And the judge noticed. The moment the bribery payment surfaced in court filings, Judge Lyman's demeanor shifted. This was no longer about a simple Hollywood dispute. This was about corruption, legal manipulation, and the abuse of wealth to obstruct justice. And the judge did not hold back. Court transcripts reveal that Lively's legal team scrambled to justify the payments, claiming they were standard legal expenses and that the money was for general legal defense. But the numbers didn't add up. The amount far exceeded normal legal costs for a case like this. The timing was too precise, lining up exactly with Blake's legal motion to seal evidence. And most importantly, the funds were linked to a direct attempt to block key documents from the case. Judge Lyman reportedly leaned forward and asked one simple question. If this was a legitimate legal expense, why wasn't it disclosed earlier? Blake's team had no answer. Now, the case has completely shifted. Blake's legal team is no longer just defending her against the original claims. They are fighting to explain away a clear case of obstruction, attempted bribery, and legal tampering. Her strategy? Control the press, silence the narrative, hope the public forgets. But there's one problem. This isn't just speculation anymore. It's in the court records, and no amount of Hollywood PR can erase what's already in the hands of the legal system. Blake Lively thought her fame could protect her, but now she's realizing that not even Hollywood money can make this problem disappear. Next, the secret text between Blake and Taylor Swift, and why they could be the final nail in her coffin. But before we continue with these deep dives, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next shocking update. Blake Lively knew what was in those text messages. She knew that if they ever saw the light of day, her entire case would fall apart. So she did everything in her power to keep them buried. Court filings confirm that Lively's legal team fought aggressively to have specific communications sealed under an attorney's eyes-only protection order. Their argument? The disclosure of these materials would cause irreparable harm to Ms. Lively's personal and professional standing. But the judge wasn't buying it, because what exactly was so damaging that Blake would rather risk being caught obstructing justice than let these messages go public? The answer: they weren't just about her. These texts named names, and the list of people involved, bigger than anyone expected. Inside those messages, one name appeared again and again: Taylor Swift. According to newly unsealed legal documents, Blake desperately tried to keep her private exchanges with Swift from being submitted as evidence. Why? Because these texts allegedly revealed that Swift was involved in behind-the-scenes conversations about controlling public perception of the lawsuit. The filings confirm Blake reached out to Taylor Swift for advice on how to handle PR backlash before the lawsuit was even filed. Taylor allegedly connected Blake with a crisis management firm that specializes in narrative shaping and reputation defense. The messages contain discussions about coordinating statements, timing media leaks, and potentially influencing legal strategy. But it wasn't just Swift. Other A-list celebrities were named too. Ryan Reynolds. Court records show his communications were also flagged for potential evidentiary review. Bradley Cooper, acknowledged in filings as someone Blake thanked for his support in her legal battle. Hugh Jackman, reportedly involved in discussions about media narratives surrounding the case. And yet, Blake's team insisted that these messages were not relevant to the lawsuit. They begged the judge to keep them sealed. But then, Judge Lyman ruled against her. When Blake's team argued that her texts should remain private, Judge Lyman responded with a brutal reality check. The court does not grant special privileges on the basis of celebrity status. Translation: being famous doesn't mean you get to hide the truth. The judge's ruling was clear and final. The text messages will be submitted as evidence. They will be reviewed by opposing counsel. And most importantly, they will be made available in open court. Meaning, the public will see exactly what Blake was hiding. This ruling sent shockwaves through Hollywood, because if those messages confirm that top celebrities were involved in a coordinated effort to manipulate public perception, this scandal just went from bad to catastrophic. The second the judge ruled against Blake, everything changed. Taylor Swift's PR team went silent. Ryan Reynolds allegedly began scrambling behind the scenes, reaching out to legal experts. News outlets suddenly stopped running Blake-friendly narratives. It was clear. The walls were closing in. And for the first time, Blake Lively realized she wasn't in control anymore. Because now, the truth was coming out. And there was no stopping it. Next, the leaked footage that completely destroys her key claims. The very footage that proves she lied to the world. And when that footage hit the internet, the entire case changed overnight. Blake Lively built her entire lawsuit on one major claim: that during the filming of It Ends With Us, she was forced into a horrifying, inappropriate scene against her will. A moment so disturbing, she claimed, that it left her traumatized. She swore she had proof. She demanded justice. And at first, people believed her. But then, the unedited footage leaked. And everything changed. For months, Lively insisted that a specific dance scene on set had made her feel unsafe. She claimed she was pressured into uncomfortable actions and that she had never agreed to film it the way it was shot. Her exact words in a legal statement: "I was placed in a deeply distressing position, forced to endure a scene that crossed clear boundaries." But then, the raw, unedited clip surfaced. And in it, Blake Lively wasn't distressed. She wasn't uncomfortable. She wasn't forced into anything. She was smiling, laughing, engaging with the scene effortlessly. Not a single sign of fear, no hesitation, no distress. In fact, she looked like she was having fun. And when people saw the video, they realized Blake had lied. The moment the footage leaked, the public turned on Blake Lively. Social media exploded. Wait, this is the scene she said traumatized her? She looks totally fine. How is this even a lawsuit? So she just made it up? The backlash was instant and brutal. Even mainstream outlets that had previously supported Blake were now walking back their coverage, acknowledging that the footage did not match her claims. Legal analysts weighed in. One attorney, reviewing the case, stated, "This is a disaster for Blake Lively's credibility. When your primary claim hinges on an incident and video evidence completely contradicts your version of events, your case collapses." And that's exactly what happened. After the footage went viral, Blake panicked. Her legal team scrambled to explain why the video looked nothing like her claims. And their excuse? Blake was acting under duress. Just because she appears fine in the footage doesn't mean she wasn't deeply uncomfortable. But there was a problem with this argument, because this is Hollywood, and acting is literally her job. A director reviewing the case bluntly stated, "If Blake Lively is arguing that pretending to be happy in a scene is evidence of suffering, then she's just admitted that she doesn't know how acting works." At this point, no one was buying her story anymore. Not the media, not the fans, and definitely not the judge. When the leaked footage was submitted as official evidence in court, Judge Lyman's response was brutal. During the hearing, the judge reportedly called out Blake's legal team for their ever-changing claims. His ruling? The plaintiff has presented contradictory statements that are directly challenged by verified evidence. This will be taken into full consideration. Translation: Blake's credibility was officially shattered. And with it, her entire case began to crumble. For years, Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively were Hollywood's golden couple. Perfect marriage, picture-perfect family, power couple status. But behind the scenes, Ryan Reynolds was pulling strings. And now, it's all coming out. As Blake's legal case spirals out of control, new court filings reveal something even more shocking. Ryan wasn't just supporting Blake from the sidelines. He was actively involved in trying to suppress evidence. And if the latest reports are true, he might go down with her. Newly surfaced legal documents show that Ryan Reynolds' name appears multiple times in confidential email exchanges between Blake's legal team, crisis management experts, and even financial institutions. His involvement? Not minor. He was allegedly present in strategy meetings about how to block certain evidence from reaching the court. He was copied on multiple emails discussing the attempted $100 million payout to bury documents. He personally reached out to PR firms, some of the biggest in Hollywood, to shape the media narrative before the case even went public. This wasn't just a husband supporting his wife. This was a coordinated effort to control the legal system. And now, it's all in the court records, a financial transaction that directly connects Ryan Reynolds to the attempted cover-up. Court logs show that a large sum of money, reportedly in the tens of millions, was moved through a private financial firm linked to Reynolds' business holdings. The problem? The transfer happened just days before Blake's legal team officially filed to have key evidence sealed. Coincidence? Not a chance. Financial analysts reviewing the case immediately flagged the transaction as suspicious. One legal expert stated, if this money was used in any way to obstruct evidence, Ryan Reynolds could be looking at serious consequences, legally and professionally. And just like that, Hollywood's most likable leading man was now at the center of a massive legal scandal. The second Ryan's name appeared in official court filings, the response from Hollywood was instant. PR teams scrambled to control the damage. Multiple media outlets mysteriously changed their coverage, suddenly downplaying the case. Industry insiders began distancing themselves from Reynolds behind the scenes. Because the judge has ordered a full review of financial records tied to both Blake and Ryan. And if even a fraction of the allegations against them turn out to be true, Ryan Reynolds could be facing more than just bad press. As pressure mounts, one question looms over everything. Will Ryan Reynolds throw Blake Lively under the bus to save himself? Because at this point, his career is on the line. Major brands, Aviation Gin, Mint Mobile, Wrexham Football Club, are watching closely. If this case drags him down, he stands to lose everything. And Ryan? He's not the type to go down without a fight. Blake Lively has played every card in the deck. She tried to manipulate the courts. She tried to silence the media. She tried to buy her way out of trouble. None of it worked. Now, with Ryan Reynolds' name dragged into the scandal, she has only one move left. Save herself, at any cost. And if that means betraying her own husband, so be it. Court insiders confirm that Blake's legal team is already in talks for a settlement. But there's a catch. The prosecution isn't just looking for a financial payout. They want a name. And according to multiple reports, Blake is willing to give them one. One high-profile legal analyst explained, if Lively cooperates, she could negotiate a reduced penalty or even avoid criminal charges. But in exchange, she'll have to point the finger at someone higher up. And who's higher up than her? Ryan Reynolds. Blake is out of options. Her career is in free fall. Her reputation is beyond repair. She's looking at massive legal penalties, a destroyed public image, and possibly even criminal charges. But if she hands over Ryan, she gets a deal that protects her from the worst consequences, a reduced settlement that saves her millions, a chance to control the narrative before it's too late. And Blake knows how Hollywood works. She's seen it happen before. If a woman plays the victim while a man takes the blame, the industry forgives her. But Ryan? He becomes the villain. And if Blake testifies that Ryan played a leading role in the bribery cover-up, he's finished. Here's where things get even dirtier. Blake's PR team has already started planting a new narrative. Recent leaks to media outlets have shifted the tone. Less focus on Blake's involvement in the bribery, more attention on Ryan's behind-the-scenes influence. Hints that Blake may have been pressured into certain decisions. It's a clear setup. She's positioning herself as someone who was led astray by her husband's legal and financial maneuvering. One PR executive analyzing the shift said, Blake is laying the groundwork for a Ryan betrayed me narrative. If she plays it right, she walks away as the wronged wife, and he takes the fall. And Ryan, he's starting to realize what's happening. Ryan Reynolds is not stupid. He knows how the game is played, and sources close to his legal team say he's preparing for war. His options? 1, file for divorce first. Separate himself legally before Blake can pin everything on him. 2, go public, get ahead of the narrative, and expose Blake's involvement before she can rewrite history. 3, counterattack legally. If he can prove Blake was the mastermind, he can shift the blame back to her. But he has to act fast. Because once Blake's team finalizes their deal, it's over for him. Behind the scenes, Hollywood insiders confirm that Ryan and Blake's marriage is hanging by a thread. They're no longer appearing in public together. They're no longer posting cute Instagram stories. They're no longer playing the perfect couple. Because they both know the truth. This scandal is about to destroy them, and only one of them is going to survive it. Blake Lively is making her final move. Ryan Reynolds has days, maybe hours, to fight back. Because if she strikes first, Hollywood's golden boy is about to become its biggest villain. And the fallout will be unlike anything we've ever seen before. Subscribe and stay tuned. The next chapter of this scandal will change everything.